We are back with the Three Stooges. We got Mike and a couple of friends. You might recognize this guy on the left. That's JOHN ZIMA. We spoke with him last year about a drum that he sold, believe it or not. So this thief back here, right here in the black, it was a beautiful peacock pearl snare. Very, very rare, and we were all amazed by that. And we got the story on that last year. But we're adding Mr. BUN E CARLOS this year. You're going to recognize him. We want to talk a little bit. Now, these guys have been around a long time. These are names that you've known. But here they are in indie flesh, and they're going to talk a little bit about what they like to collect and how the show is going for them this year. We know BUN E has always been into like citrus mod Ludwig stuff. At least that's what I picked up with you. Although I know you've been collecting for a zillion years. I've read some of your stories about how people would send you things and whether you collected them or not, and how you kind of became educated about vintage drums when there was really nothing to go on. Could you maybe touch a little bit on that, where you got your education? And I know it may be hard knocks, making some mistakes, but who actually told you about how to discern what's a good vintage drum and what isn't?
Charlie Donnelly in Newington, Connecticut, who's the guy that got me collecting. He came out on the road when he had my Radio King kit, a Black Diamond kit in the 1970s. And he came out and told me more about it than I knew, and told me about other drums, and explained some things to me, and sold me some drums at the same time, which is basically the picture there. And over the years, you know, you talk to people, and you make some mistakes, of course, but yeah, this whole idea of networking is kind of the trick.
That seems to be the key word here today. I was talking to Dave Brown a little earlier. We did some footage with him, and Mike also said the same thing. It's just integrity and being honest and getting a reputation of being that way seems to be the key.
Yeah, you know, Chuck Scalia came over once from Madison, Wisconsin, came down to my house about an hour away, and you know, showed me some of this and that, and swapped a couple things. So-and-so here, and you know, many people, and it gets to this point today, you know, where people start calling me. But when I can't answer questions, you know, there's 3 or 4 people I call. You know, Mike's usually the first, and there's a couple others, and you know, there's Bill Wanser, and there's Joe Loma, and there's Rob Cook and John Aldrich, and
yeah,
there's a whole bunch of them.
These
you know,
are all the names these collectors have heard.
Different people for different decades, and this and that, you know. And so yeah, it's all, you know, putting some money in the phone.
Now we understand you got Bunny's Barn, which is of the ever-growing room where you keep all your collection. Is that becoming overflowing now, or what?
I fixed up a space, and it's getting kind of full, as most collectors would. It's true for most every collector I know. It's kind of, I got a little too much stuff. You know, I got to lighten the load. Yada yada.
Now I read you're focusing mostly on Ludwig now.
I'm a Ludwig guy, and when I kind of defined what I wanted to do, I said I wanted to collect all the cool Ludwig finishes. Well, it turns out there's like way too many.
Now, am I to understand that you once owned a set of Gladstones?
Yeah, I had a Billy Gladstone, a white Marine Pearl kit, a white 22-13-16 that belonged to Maury Feld.
I was going to say, where'd that come from?
The band, and the white pearl snare drum with it was Cozy Cole's, and they'd been paired together, and I got it in 1980, and left me in 1987 and went to the Canary Islands.
Terrific. Now, some might say, why? And I asked JOHN ZIMA the same thing last year about this great peacock pearl drum that he had, which is basically what I collect. Why would you get rid of that? He just gave a very casual, it built me a new fence or something. I think it just was time to go.
And it's interesting you bring this up with Bunny here. We were just talking about this, because you're collecting morphs from one stage to another stage to another. Now, an interesting question for Bunny may be, as he just stated, he's 2 finishes away from completing the set. What happens then? We'll have to ask Bunny.
What happens when you're that close to everything you've said you were going to do?
Sell them to me.
Sell them to this guy. No.
That's kind of
over with doubles.
That happens sometimes. I have some doubles already. You know, you upgrade, or you find things you know. I thought I was done a couple years ago, and then I forgot about these. Right. So sometimes these things expand. But my idea would be to assemble my collection when it's what I wanted to collect. Would be to document it, and at some point then probably to let it go.
Well, now, what are the 2 drums you're displaying today? I know that they're not on sale, but they're Ludwig. What are they?
1960s snare drums, late 60s. One's a 1967 Mod Orange Jazz Fest, an 8-lug 5x14 wood drum. And then the other one's a 6-lug Pioneer model, blue and olive, 1970.
Now, do you have a particular guideline on condition? Like, say you won't buy anything that's in poor condition, it has to be excellent, or what?
If I didn't have one, I'd buy the junkiest one if it was the first one to come along, and then I would upgrade from there. And that's how drums accumulate.
And I read that everything you have is basically in playable condition.
Well, I like to play a lot of the stuff I have. A lot of the older stuff would be kind of like not good to start wailing on the stuff. So, yeah, I got a bunch of, most of my kits you can play, and a lot of my snare drums you can play, and anything before about 1935 I don't play.
I see. Because I've seen some of the photo layouts of, in Not So Modern Drum or whatever.
Yeah.
You'll see a little bit of the barn, and I'll see things that I'm interested in, which is basically 20s, 30s, and you'll have trap tables and things like that. And I thought, gosh, from what Bunny says, when he's interviewed, he doesn't really collect that kind of stuff, but yet you still have it on your shelves, and you're clearing that stuff out? Or?
Sometimes it comes along, sometimes I clear it out. Mike got some Slingerland stuff from me today, and a little of this and that I had around. But,
right.
The whole idea of me having my barn and having the stuff in there is, I collected for 25 years, and I never had the stuff out to look at.
Yeah.
So I can go home and I can see my collection in front of me, and that's the fun. That's the payoff.
So you enjoy the display of your collection, as I do.
Cleaning it up and displaying it. So people can see it.
Fixing it up's a gas.
Yeah, I love it.
And then you come out with a book like Mike has done, right?
That's the ultimate dream, is to document, share it with everybody.
When are we going to see the Carlos collection book?
Someday, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's big enough to do, isn't it? I mean, I think that would be really interesting.
It's big enough. It's not as comprehensive as Mike's would be, but it's good for a Ludwig guy.